يفضل. يلا راح ابعت لك رقم الشخص دي. Okay. طيب يلا. Thank you everyone for coming to Thank you everybody for coming today. We have again guests from the previous program, and I believe some of them. And very welcome everyone. Today we have one of our alumni, Karen Masler, who recently can say you raised.
You can say.
Recently raised with money from Physics Labs. And then Karen, you sent him to Skynet in Berkeley last year. Well, it's safe to say you came back with a completely different mindset.
Yeah, exactly.
have the startups يسافروا specifically to California for some reason بيشيبوا هيك يعني بيرجع الانسان لمثل الكليه. We picked up things along the way, which today is going to be talking about, mainly about growth experiment. هلا and the way I see it is انه هلا بعد يمكن you're a bit early, يمكن you're a bit later, but this kind of starts to take more impact. What you have a product and you're trying to get customers. وليكن تستعرفوا هالشيء as early as possible. So by the time you get to this point, you already have the mindset of experimentation. Hey, the when you're like in a science lab, you have all these chemicals. You think, okay, if we mix these two, we're pretty sure this is going to happen. But we actually want that result. So what happens if we mix these three things with these amounts of weight? Should we see it? I keep it with an educated experiment. مش إنه نحط نار مع أو مي مع كهرباء ونشوف إنه يصير يعني. But this is going to be the topic of discussion today. We're very welcome, Carlo. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Hani. We're excited to have this chat. So to Hani's point, like there's something that I don't fully agree with what you mentioned, which is it's very important just post-product. It's even pre-product, and it's very important pre-product while you're discovering your product. After, like it's really something that, at least from my perspective, having this mindset, it was a real mindset change. So I hope like there's pre-identifying growth and experiments, and then there was post that. So I hope you have this as well. Like this is one of the shittiest presentations I've ever built. So don't judge my knowledge or whatever it is on this presentation, right? It was just something to have some talking points, but just focus on on basically the actual information out of it. A quick intro about me. Carl, co-founder and CEO of Kodwa. What we do is we're building an AI finance manager that automates all the processes post-accounting, from financial planning, analysis, forecasting, budgeting. So basically identifying anomalies for companies and then providing them with insights and recommendations on what to work on. All right, before we deep dive into this discussion, I want to understand who you are, what do you do, how are you acquiring customers, if any? These are the logos that I got from the newest batch, so sorry if I missed any. مظبوطين? Okay, perfect. So I want to start with this, so please just one sentence. Name, one sentence on what do you do, right? Shorter than the one that I gave. And basically, how do you acquire customers, if any? And I know that you had a session with Avo last week or a few days ago. Last week, what is your OMTM, if you remember what it was? One metric that matters. All right, so I'll start from here. Name, company.
Sandbox, smart locker system that Okay. We are Sandbox, a smart locker system that allows online shoppers to receive their orders whenever they want, wherever they are. How we acquire customers, it's basically B2B business model, and it's based on recommendations or referrals or network connections. And what's our OMTM for now? What we have thought of is boxes booked, number of boxes booked
Per
per locker.
per day,
Okay,
per month,
per reservation time, because it could be up to 2 days free of charge.
Okay. We'll get back to that at some
It could be per day.
All right.
We are Team Oramala, previously Epicence. Now we changed our name and logo to reflect our new mission, yani, to become an IoT health tech company, not just for epilepsy. Our first product will concentrate on epilepsy. We aim to build a mobile app that predicts attacks before they occur and help the patient by alerting him of the attack. Our model currently is B2C, but we have no customers yet. Our OMTM metric would be the number of monthly subscribers we have for the app.
Perfect.
My name is Nadine.
Can you raise your voice a bit?
Yeah.
Come on, Neil.
Okay. Hi, my name is Nadine, co-founder of Chroma Twin. We're building predictive digital twins of patients. Our main acquiring customers at the moment, we're going to shift to hospitals. At first it was patients. Now we're focusing on hospitals as a whole. Our metric that matters at the moment is how much earlier can we predict the deterioration of patients? What's the maximum and minimum amount of time, basically?
Perfect.
Great.
Hello, Consultify AI. It's a AI powered it's an AI powered platform that automates the manual tasks of consultants. Our model is B2B, and the way we target customers at this stage is through connections and through referrals, of course. And our OMTM is time saved per deliverable.
Hello, my name is Marwan. I'm a founder of Mawad Online. Basically, it's not here. We're an aggregator for beauty and dental clinic service providers. We connect them with their customers and with the fintechs provider like banks and installment companies. The pain point in this industry is that it's not covered by medical insurance. So what we did is we integrated with finance companies to provide installments instead of cash. We acquire customers by online communication and social media. Thank you.
So you're a fintech, just to make sure that.
No, we integrate with fintechs
Okay.
and fintechs aggregator as well.
Hello, we're Personas. We provide a platform for the distribution and collaboration with digital humans. They're basically doubles of public figures, influencers, celebrities. And the way we acquire customers is actually two-sided because we work with distribution. On the supply side, we have talent agencies, sports teams, any kind of collective of public figures. And on the distribution side, we talk to businesses such as events, media platforms, and all kinds of other distribution, content creation, entertainment verticals to provide kind of this funnel from the source to the distribution, and we take royalties out of that.
But how do you acquire customers, or how do you expect to acquire customers? Because you said we talk to this, we talk to that.
Yeah, we're B2B, so we usually talk with every business separately to kind of create. We're working on the API angle, so to create custom solutions that integrate within their platforms. And so it's very kind of B2B, traditional B2B funnel, more or less.
Perfect.
Hi, Jana Barhoush, co-founder of Beaver. So Beaver is a construction-based educational kit mixing hands-on and online learning. We sell to schools and in retail. So in retail, we're gonna start selling online and exclusively in Jouet Club for this Christmas season, the kit. And the educational program with the kit, it's for schools, either students independently enroll or schools integrated in their curriculum.
How did you get these customers?
So for schools, we go door to door. So first, it's either cold calling or through referrals. We get one meeting and we start from there.
Perfect. Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
My name is Nabil, founder of GoPark. GoPark is the Airbnb of parking. We allow you to book your parking ahead of time and park stress-free. Our strategy for the go-to-market is using we're a B2C, so it's social media mainly, and some referrals. What else? OMTN.
That's it. Yeah,
So that's booking
booking
per week. Yeah,
perfect.
booking per week.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Hind from Tweld. We're infrastructure for private market transactions. We currently are at the stage of creating SPVs for you in the Cayman Islands. We acquired our customers either through referral or through direct, talking to them through LinkedIn. And we're also currently in talks with potential accelerators to also acquire more customers.
Perfect. OMTM.
A number of deals through our platform.
Perfect. All right. Perfect. So there were a few topics that came back again and again, either referrals or cold, whatever, emailing call or even social media that came as well. But there were few topics that were more interesting for me, which came from Episense or previously Episense and Chroma Twin. And we'll talk a bit about those later on, which were, you said that you changed, right? You were epilepsy only, and now you changed.
Yes.
No need for an answer now. We'll talk about this later. But this was a topic that is interesting to talk to, why you changed all of that. We'll talk a bit, about that later on. And same for you. You said now hospitals. Also interesting, the shift. Why? We'll talk about this later. All right. So interesting to talk a bit about growth experiments, right? The first part of this sentence is growth. So what is growth when we're talking about growth in startup land? So whenever we look at growth and we just go on Google or ChatGPT or whatever it is, and we write growth, we get this definition. Growth refers to the process of increasing the scale and scope of a company, right? Often measured by revenue, customer base, whatever it is. All right. Any thought about that statement? Anything that is alarming for you, or it's thumbs up? Okay.
Could grow the market itself? Could grow the need for the customer needs? Like increase
Okay.
automatically the market value, market size.
Okay, this is still going to grow the company, but yeah, market size as well. Fair. It's market share, by the way.
Market share is different from market size.
Yeah, but that's true, actually. All right. So there's one missing thing, which is the growth in startups specifically is something that is repeatable, scalable, and sustainable. It's not only about acquiring users or increasing sales or increasing whatever. It's increasing them properly. And for you to be able to repeat this process all over again, right? So you can acquire customers. I can go today, get 10 salespeople, right? Pay them their salaries, and all of them will get me 5 customers that are not that, like I wouldn't have a proper CAC to LTV ratio. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but I wouldn't have a sustainable business. I would have a repeatable one, but not a sustainable business, not even a scalable one. So the thought about growth in startup land is how can we make this growth or hyper growth repeatable, scalable, and sustainable. All right. Now, what are some of the growth strategies? Some of the things are what you mentioned. There's product led, so product first. This is what a lot of people aspire to get, right? To get to, especially product people. We're one of them. We want our product to sell for itself. We don't want to go knock on doors and just push it, right? There's sales led, sales team, all of that. Vertical growth, right? You grow into more, like vertically, you go into a bigger value chain, right? So you do sunduks, then you do deliveries. Someone wouldn't be very happy, but yeah. Partnership driven. You said that you would partner with accelerators, same thing. Brand extension, same brand, new product, right? So today you do, I don't know,
Hoodies, then
you do hoodies, tomorrow caps, the day after, whatever, right? Marketing led is what B2C people mention the most, which is more about we're going to go for social media, we're going to pay, blah, 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 right? All of these are valid Is it the thing that we need to go for? We don't know. We'll see, right? Now, there is a difference between growth strategies for early stage, mid stage, or a bit later growth stage, and then for the bigger. I'm going to focus the most on this part, right? Because basically we're at an early stage here. And the main things are going to be about the top two for me, not even the rest. The top two are the most important as of today. Direct sales or founder-led, and then partnership experiments. And there's always this experiments that will come whenever we talk about all of these, right? But basically the direct sales approach is you go, you knock on doors, you talk to people, you try to find these early adopters that are going to be the ones that believe in you, believe in your vision, maybe are close to you, maybe not. I don't know yet, right? Partnerships, you can find someone like AUB that will be willing to push with you into this journey, or someone like Flat Six Labs, or someone like YC. I don't know if you attended Michelle's talk yesterday, but yeah, like all of these, you will be able to find these partnerships or this closed community that is willing to test with you, that is willing to take a risk on you or take a bet on you. Then there is the customer success first, right? So for the first customers, what we need to do is we need to give them everything, like really everything. At 1 a.m. they call, you answer, yes, you go, you fix it. Because these are the ones that took a risk on you, took a bet. And then these are the ones that will go and they will actually sell for you. They will be your biggest supporters, all right? After that, which is directly linked, which is tough when we don't have all the resources, but we need to improve our product extremely fast. We need to make sure that we quickly iterate based on the feedback. When I say improve the product, I don't mean add features. I mean improve the product, just that. Yeah, take it as it is. Don't say, okay, I want to add this, I want to add that. The solution is not only to add stuff, right? Sometimes it's to have the shittiest thing, right? Calendly, you go, you press one thing button, and that's it, right? Google, it's one line. You press enter, you get it, right? So just keep that in mind. And then there's the network. When we're talking about, actually, we'll get back to product led, but then there's the network driven stuff. So you
Just tap the screen.
this screen.
Give it like a couple seconds.
You can tell I'm a 90s kid, right? All right. So the second part is the second part is the network. We try to get to a better referral, better invites, right? Try to create this aspect of, okay, this person is referring someone, is referring someone. I'm not sure if it like which dating app was it, but you could only go if you had referrals. And this created this shit, I want to be on this app, right? So for some odd reason. And finally, there is the content, thought leadership. This is the new terminology these days, right? Thought leadership. I'm trying to be one of them, right? Whoever follows me on LinkedIn will know that I try to write as much as I can. I try to focus on a specific niche. I try to give my 2 cents or whatever it is, right? Someone who did it really well in my field, at least, is the founder of Causal. He was really good. And one of my friends bought his product, which is here, this guy. So Causal, the founder of Causal was really active there, talking to people, showing basically the passion that he brought to starting this company. And this is what brought inbound. He was always top of mind. He was telling you what to do, how to do it, what was your problem, right? All of these things were really good and which allowed him to get to where he got. Now, all of these growth strategies that we're talking about for early stage have one goal in mind: finding product market fit. What's product market fit? Exactly. What's product market fit? Anyone? Like, I need 3 answers. Let's see.
1 million ARR.
All right.
That's one
We'll get back to that. Actually, let me give you the counter for that.
iPark founder who raised millions.
Very fair. He can tell you that. And the fact that we're discussing it, this is why like product market fit is very difficult. I'll give you a counter example. A friend of mine started a company 3 years ago, YC founder actually. And she was telling me that she got to 1.6 million in ARR. However, every customer she had a different use case, was using the product in a different way. Do we consider her getting product market fit? Arguably. She's getting revenue, she's growing, but is it product market fit? No. Another. Let's debunk them.
A need.
A need.
For example, Uber, it was a need for a taxi to come to you.
Okay. Interesting. But a need is a market. What about the product side of things? How do you link these two together?
A product that someone is willing to pay for.
How do you define that? Willing to pay. She was getting paid $1.6 million per year, but she didn't find product market fit. Go ahead.
So a solution for, in our case, a solution for a problem that doesn't exist a lot yet, but we could tell it will exist in the market a few years from now.
Why are you considering this? Where's the fit there? It's a potential fit. It's beautiful.
It's derivative product, and if this problem is already solved and exists and someone solved it, you're kind of just doing the same thing in a different way. And sometimes you can tailor your solution for something you know is going to happen, but the market hasn't realized yet.
But this is not product market fit today.
It's not today, absolutely.
Then it's not product market fit.
So for me, it stopped with actual consultants. And when I tell them about what I'm building, those consultants tell me, I wish we had that today. We would love to use it.
Did they pay? Are they willing to pay? Then it's not product market fit.
So it could be.
This is the most important question. Allah, we'll get to that.
People are willing to pay for the solution that you are suggesting. The way you are theoretically نحط على الارض يعني انت بتقول انه هيدي البروبلم وهيدي السولوشن لهيدي البروبلم و people are willing to pay لهيدي السولوشن بس ليحلوا هيدي المشكله.
Interesting. That's interesting.
Keep on paying.
Very interesting. Do you want to say? Yeah, you want to say something?
What I understand is the criteria one, the market is just putting their product from you to the point where you cannot sustain
the demand,
supply, and your unit economics are.
This is for me the most the closest to what I consider a product market fit as well, which is the market actually pulling it, right? And is it pulling it in a sustainable manner and something that is repeatable and that I could make it work, right? Without having any issues. And I'll skip the rest, right? Growth strategies for the scaling and efficiency and all of that. But basically, this is the most important aspect of how can we get to a point where we have product market fit. How can we get to a point where our product is growing by itself? We're overwhelmed by demand, but it is a very good ROI demand. And if you're searching online, by the way, for product market fit, you're not going to find one answer. No. I'm just letting you know that. No, I did this research so many times and I really couldn't find any answers. So many answers. Perfect. So I'll go through these pretty quickly. All right. Later on, you have like the aggressive sales and marketing, referrals, SEO, geographic stuff, channels, account expansion, advanced product led, community. All of these things are things that will come at a later stage, right? And then the optimization, which is how can we diversify the product? How can we grow? How can we have the proper benchmarks? How can we go into marketplaces? How can we have product placements, right? efficient, of course, everything needs to be efficient. Now, how do we know which one of the previous growth strategies is the best for me?
Try and then. Try and then.
Anyone has a different answer?
Depends who your ICP is.
Okay.
Experiment.
Trial and error. Perfect. Exactly. Exactly. But that's the point. So we've been talking for the past 30 minutes about growth, but now we need to link it to actually experimenting on these growth strategies, right? And now we can get to the stories, right? So do you have customers? Do you have paying customers? Which growth strategy did you use? If not, why not? How are you building? How did you decide on what you're building? How did you decide to shift to hospitals or to not just epilepsy, right? So now we're going to do a quick run through, right? And talk about every single company, basically the story, your story. Let's start actually from here this time.
I do have okay, so my business model is different because it's a one-time fee.
Mhm.
It's not a recurring revenue.
Fair.
So I had 5 paying customers. And which growth strategy am I using? So one, it's the partnerships with potential accelerators. 2, I didn't know it was called that, but you mentioned something about network-led growth. So indirectly, network-driven growth. So indirectly, we're doing that because whenever a founder wants to create a deal page, he has to onboard his investors. So indirectly, we're creating a community of investors.
Nice.
So that's that. And then the third one, it's the cold messaging on LinkedIn and asking people for referrals.
Perfect. I like that. We'll get to the LinkedIn piece very soon as well, and we'll talk a bit more about that, but super interesting.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So
Let me go back to the questions, Elizabeth Doc.
do you have a customer? Actually, today we had the first customer.
Congrats. Nice feeling.
Yeah, someone paid today to park.
Nice.
This was the first.
The first of many.
$3.
No. Still need it. So for the customer, we don't have just one customer, paying customer. For the growth, we're outside social media. We're talking with the help of iPark. We're talking to AUB, to student clubs, to get to the students. All right. So this is like the cheapest way of getting there, and it's also relevant to them. So it's coming from iPark and from AUB. So this should be a good strategy for now, for us to get AUB students, because this is our target audience today.
I like that.
We're meeting next week.
Okay, so I'm just writing one thing because I want to go back to it later on. All right, go ahead.
Potential customers, so we're launching in October for the school year and for the product to be ready. But we started our sales process in March. We went to all the schools. Why we decided schools to focus more on schools than in retail, because of our previous startup in the education sector, we saw how much the market is bigger when we put schools.
Okay.
So Fluent, we decided to focus on this.
So sort of a partnership approach, yeah?
So we go to the school, we present the product and educational program, and they decide to take it either for the whole classroom or as an optional extracurricular activity.
All right.
So we have both. And some schools are choosing this, some choosing the other side. So we did a pilot project with the school, which had this also.
How did you get the school? Cold calling, you said cold calling or referral?
Yes. That's
Okay, very good.
So we chose the schools that we called routine activities such as buildings and some stuff that are similar to what we do.
Okay.
More than this mentality.
Okay, perfect. وعلي. Woo!
He got his commission.
Once they pay, they stick around for 6 months, then he gets paid.
So we started sales technically around a month ago. And it's actually a pretty interesting change because initially I mentioned that we're distribution. So we have a supply side and a demand side. And first couple of weeks, I was fully cold emailing 100 different managers of talent agencies, celebrities, etc., trying to get them on board, and that was failing miserably. And then I was like, maybe I should focus a bit more on the distribution side. And when I kind of transitioned to the distribution side, I started talking to these tech companies that want this kind of more future-focused content creation vision. I got 3 LOIs in. So I noticed that there's the traction should come from the distribution side, and that will help me onboard the supply side rather than the opposite way around.
That's interesting. Interesting for two reasons. First of all, because usually marketplace, they always start with supply and then they match the demand. Imagine you going for Uber and then you're like, okay, I want a car, but then you don't have a car. It's a bit fucked up, right? Now, the second interesting part, which is you're talking to the ones that want a more forward-looking, right? How did you get to these guys?
Networking, not one cold email, actually. It's always a referral, someone from the network. If Rida were here, he'd tell you I ask him to introduce me to 20 people every single day.
Nice.
And then I try to convert whoever I found of those.
Perfect.
So actually the best LOI we've gotten yet is directly a connection from Rida.
Perfect.
Managed to flip within a week.
Make these connections.
Oh, yes, I got that.
All right, go ahead.
Well, basically, we've been online for the past 3 years.
Okay.
Yes, we have paying customers, and we have 3 people who pays us. B2C, who are the customers who book their appointment through our application, and the B2B, who are the beauty and dental service providers, and the fintechs who provides the loans for the client.
So basically, you got these through online or social media, and you're paying for ads.
We knock doors.
Okay.
Cold callings. B2C, it's through social media, SEO, digital activities.
Perfect.
Fintechs, we have them all.
Perfect. Thank you.
So no customers yet, because so our growth strategy is founder-led outreach. So personally reaching out to these consulting principals and above in these consulting firms in the region. Surprisingly enough, getting answers from almost all of them. So really having calls or
How are you contacting them?
reaching out on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn?
Sometimes I actually haven't had like much that haven't answered, but if it happens, I find like mutual connection, talk to the person, tell them, can you put me in touch with XYZ? This is what I normally do. And then actually have a call with them, which I've had with a few of these consulting firms to see, of course, if they're interested, show them the prototype. What we're doing now actually is with the company with who I'm doing the tech for equity team. What's good is they're going to deploy, so they're going to develop the product and deploy it in-house. So this is going to be kind of a bridge to showcase a bit the success metrics, etc.
Perfect.
Because they're also a consulting firm.
Perfect.
And they have connections to consulting companies in Europe, so they would, through referral, of course, get us into these books.
Perfect. I'll get back to you. I have a question for you, but I want to finish and we'll get back.
As AUBMC, we're doing a mini pilot in the emergency room as of next month. And no paying customers so far, but why we changed actually from patient to hospital is because at the end of the day, the doctors are going to use it. And through patients, it's more fragmented that way. And the hospitals, at the end of the day, they're going to be having the service.
But how did you identify that it's time for you to focus on hospitals and not patients?
But actually, through experimentation, actually talking to people and talking to the hospitals, at first it was a bit confusing because there is a lot of red tape with hospitals. But once you prove through the mini pilot to back in the actual full pilot that we're going to do over 6 months, it's going to prove the value to them. And eventually we'll go to insurance companies and potentially later on individual patients.
Perfect. Thank you. Happy sense.
Our case, we have no customers yet. Our product solves a very painful problem, which is that of the attacks which come without any warning and prevent the patient from doing any day-to-day activity normally, like driving a car or whatnot. And the solution we have for this problem is very efficient and relieves the pain, but the problem is very sensitive. One mistake, one attack which our model cannot detect will lead to an accident on the road and you go to prison. So the problem is that our model is very tech-driven, need time to build it, and then we need time to test it in hospitals before we can launch it. We cannot just launch it before we are 100% confident that it will
Okay.
have very high accuracy. So that is why we don't have any customers yet. Now, when we are ready, we plan to partner with hospitals and medical centers like ABMC.
Are you talking to them already?
ABMC, yes.
How did you get to them?
First of all, the dataset we used to build our clinical model was an open source dataset provided by UPMC. Then we talked with the doctor who provided this dataset from the neurology department, Dr. Nasruddin, and he gave us support to build this product.
Perfect. Thank you. Sunduks.
All right. Do we have customers? We have informal LOR because we are B2B and Wakilni, let's say, will pay for us. We secure Wakilni as pilot use case.
How did you get to Wakilni?
Through iPark. Okay, so partnership, I would say.
Perfect.
All right. And then I reached out from tier one delivery companies in Lebanon to iCarry. iCarry is the second potential customer. iCarry came to us, reached out to us through one of the expos that we were part of.
Okay. So events.
And then we cold calls a lot tier 2 and tier 3 delivery companies just to make sure if these kind of people will actually be part of this. And many of them showed interest. We didn't reach out yet to Aramex and Net Global because we're not yet ready for the product.
Fair.
And
let me ask you one question, which I will also ask to Consultify, but she's not here. But basically, what are you telling them on the cold calls?
On the cold calls?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm validating the problem first with them. Does your driver get frustrated from the back and forth and unneeded the communication? If they say yes, then I would move to the proposed solution.
I wanted just the opening. No need for the rest. As long as they said yes, خلاص, it's fine. It's a discussion. All right. Why not? Okay. Anyway, so what we noticed, or what I noticed at least, is a lot of it is network, a lot of it is referral, a lot of it is cold calling or emailing or LinkedIn, right? Which are usually the things that we do early on and that we are still doing, by the way. So be ready to continue on this journey, right? But what's the problem with that? And what's the problem with everything that you just mentioned? One script.
You're affecting your company, for example. Like if the company isn't self-sustainable and it's not driving its own growth, but it depends on you and the time you put into it.
Maybe yes, but also
time consuming.
Yes, but also there is something that is very important. No. How do you know if what you're sending as a message, or how do you know if the opening sentence is working or not?
You have to test.
You have to test. You have to experiment. It wasn't working, but maybe it's not just about the target. Maybe it's the problem that you're messaging, that you're adding in your message. Maybe it's whatever. And it's so many things that we don't know of, right? That are these levers, or levers, whatever the word is, right? That you need to test on. And this is where we get to the other point. What can we play around with? We can play around with pricing. We can play around with product features. We can play around with marketing channels, LinkedIn, Google Ads, Meta Ads, whatever it is. We can play around with partnerships, sales processes, right? So I used to sell to the CEOs, but then I noticed that they don't have time for me. They're not going to read anything, and they're bombarded with people like me. So let me go talk to the finance manager. Let me go L2, right? Why do I need to go for yeah, it's sexy to talk to the big guy, right? Quick turnaround, quick decisions, but like good luck getting a call, right? This is what I face, right?
You're saying
and timing as well.
100%.
And a CEO won't have time to read a whole paragraph. You have to make
100%.
it shorter, and maybe at a certain time you're like messaging him.
I agree. 100%. And all of this, we have to figure out. We have to experiment. We have to understand, what should I tell the CEO? What should I tell the CEO that is fundraising right now or that fundraised 9 months ago? So I understand that next fundraising is coming along, right? They're price sensitive. They're talking to investors, trying to find whatever, right? How can I hook them? Should I send them, for example, a list? This is a list of investors I think would be interesting for you. Maybe it might be good for you, right? I don't know. But all of these things, how can I hook this customer? We need to test. We need to experiment. We need to test and iterate and test and iterate, blah, 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 right? All of these things.
Have you ever like tested with the same person? As a,
Of course.
A reply, and then you tried something else.
You can't imagine how many times I did. I'm still doing this.
Then I think about it, and like, what if I say something else? Maybe I can like.
Let me ask you.
Forget about that. Let me try again.
Let me ask you a question on that.
I hope they don't remember the first video.
How many cold email or like these marketing emails do you get a day? Do you remember every single one of them that sent you a message?
No, and I was actually.
Exactly. How many replies do I have? So change the subject, start from scratch, and then send again. A new thread or new name. It costs $2 a month for you to create a new email. That's a lot. You know, like.
I think what this is. I got a cold email and I ignored it, and I'm like, "Is Anna about this startup early stage?" And I'm ignoring this.
Exactly.
Why do I expect $5 million company CEO to just like?
Oh, this guy, cool. Exactly. Now, these are part of the examples that we could play around with, right? But then there's another thing. There are the channels. There's organic, there's paid, there's partnerships, network, retention, direct outreach, right? So we have this mix of these two. You have 8 on one side and 6 on the other. So do the math, right? You can test a lot.
Like what you consider a successful or failed experiment?
For me?
And how you define it?
We'll get to that. All right. So basically, the goal is to get the best out of this mix. All right. But what to avoid? Have a session. All right. Vanity metrics. Stay away from these. Don't stay away from feedback. Take the feedback, whether it is a direct feedback or an indirect feedback. You got an indirect feedback. People weren't answering. As simple as that, right? Same thing for you and for you as well, right? You changed for some reason. You got indirect feedback or direct. You were talking to both hospitals and whatever, right? Not iterating fast enough. This is in everything, on a product side, on a growth side, on everything, right? Whenever something is working, no, I don't want that, right? No, I want to focus on something better. This is the worst. I faced that firsthand. Something was working. We understood that multi-entities companies were really good for us. We didn't focus on it. We went for accounting firms because it's sexy, right? We want to get to 1 million tomorrow. It doesn't work. This was working. Let's double down on it. Scaling without profitability. This is the first thing that we talked about, right? Scalable, repeatable, whatever it is. I can easily find something that works, but then if it's not profitable, you're going to run your company to the ground. Like really. Take also my friend, for example. He would tell you a bit more. You can take him on the side later on, but he faced this. So he knows what to not do, right? There are some things. There are some things that just like that work if you follow the vanity metric, but then if you look at profitability, it doesn't work, right? That being said, before your question, that being said, there are companies that grew to 700 million in revenue, right? And they are negative margins, like Lovable, for instance. What do we do about that? Do we say like no? they raised a shit ton of money because they are banking on the fact that their product is sticky enough that they will be able to raise the prices at some point. And technology, the underlying technology, which is the cost of sale or the cost of goods sold, if you remember this discussion, is going to go down. Technology will be better, but cheaper as well. So revenue up, cheaper, it would make really good sense, right? So keep that in mind also. Yes, take this as a guiding principle, but if you're building the lovable of the future, just go for it. Hey, forget about what I said. Go ahead. سبقتك على
When does it become a norming stage non-profit? After how many
Years.
There's a big difference in your statement. Yeah, exactly.
Right, was profitable actually from
Unit economics.
So as long as the unit economics work, it doesn't matter on the bottom line.
Exactly.
People will eventually scale down. Okay. You won't hire 10, today you need 10 engineers, you start burning. But at scale with engineering, you don't need to constantly hire 200, 300 engineers, right? The same code will work at scale. So as long as your core unit economics work, like the business works. Unless you're a lovable, but that's like a 1 in a million shot, and please do not do that. Like, build healthy, profitable businesses, like they do well. Makes sense.
Perfect. Any other question?
Sometimes, if you go back to the other, because yes, sometimes you start with certain ones, but later on you find out that these are not working anymore. So you start trying a new methods.
100%.
Okay, and that sometimes even you have to do both.
100%.
Okay, so mixing these strategies will always be.
It's the only constant.
All right.
In your life.
Mixing.
From now until. It's the only constant. Mix these channels and levers and try to figure it out. Right? And the trick is that maybe something is working today, but in a year it might not work. Or maybe something is not working today, but exactly, and markets are different, right? And messaging is different. So many things are like need to be tested and experimented on. All right, I'll go a bit quicker because we still have 9 minutes and I have another meeting afterwards. But so why do we want to do this like growth experiments, right? Because the growth of the company equals the sum of experiments. It's a direct correlation. The more experiments you do, the more you're going to grow. It's something that I always say to people that start, like every no you get is a closer to the yes, right? Same thing for experiments. The more you say no, 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 you're going to get to something, right? But how do we think about it? How do we test all of these, right? How to build the processes around that? How many experiments should I run? Should I run them per month, per year? Like, how much is enough, right? It's always this question. First of all, let's talk about the process. First one is to set your targets. As simple as that. You had a huge session with Avo. Go talk to him about that if you need, right? But then come up with hypotheses and experiments. I want to test Google Ads with a yellow color button. I want to test Google Ad with a blue one. I want to A/B test, right? I want to test 15% more profitable. Or I want to test free up your finance team's time. Those are tests also, right? You need to A/B test all of it. Always run these experiments, analyze them. Whenever something works, write a playbook for it. Whenever something doesn't work, write an explanation for it. What did you learn from it, right? And then start iterating on it and do this over, like I wrote, over and over and over and over again. And or you succeed, right? That's the goal of that. But how to come up with a hypothesis, right? It first starts with a belief, right? I believe that if I do this, it will work. But then you have to start building this based on data, right? What am I changing? What do I expect? Which metric is failing or is succeeding? And how long will I run this test? All right. So if we take a look at the example, so because we noticed X, we weren't getting click-through rate on a landing page, we expect that using "we love you" on the page as a message will cause 30% of the people to click through, right? We will run this experiment for 1 week using LinkedIn DMs to 50 people. It has to be this detailed. This is one experiment. All right?
If someone tells me they love me, I feel very guilty about it.
Yeah, then test it out. This is your experiment for this week. The one that wasn't answering you before, send them "I love you" and see what will happen. Right? So one thing that I want to just let you know, historically, what has been proven in a way by looking at a lot of companies is that the ones that succeed are the ones that do 3 experiments per week. It sounds easy maybe, but trust me, it's so time consuming that it's a job by itself. And as founders, you're juggling 20 things, right? So I don't know how, but you need to figure it out. A/B test it, experiment on yourself, right? And another thing that I want to do before we go into the build your own and all of that, and some of the hypotheses and all of that, something that you need to keep in mind is that experiments are not only bonus point, are not only for sales and marketing. It is also investments. It is also product development. It is also management, right? Why do I say that? Today, how do I know which sentence or what's the hook that will let investors be like, fuck, that's actually pretty cool. Let me go invest in this company. Do we know? We don't know. If you listen to my pitch a year ago versus my pitch today, totally different, right? Even the product slide, which is the same product, is totally different. Same thing with our tech team, right? Is it a 2-week sprint better or a 1-month open sprint better? We don't know. We're testing it, right? Today we had a call right before that actually the open-ended whatever was not working. Then let's go back to the 2-week sprint. Everything you can think about it in terms of experiments. And the second you start having this mindset, it will unlock a lot of things because you understand that you're not doing anything for nothing. Whatever you do is to get either a validation on your hypothesis or a rejection on it. And that's it, right?
Like big companies, like I have 4 Instagram accounts, and I remember at some point last year, each one of them had a different interface and set of features because they were testing out their users different things.
Exactly.
It made me want to use some accounts more than others, and I got
Exactly.
data that they probably use.
100%, for sure. If you go to my Google Ads account and you open a new one, it's totally different, by the way, for that purpose. All right. Now I'll move to 2 last slides and then go back to build your own. I wanted you to build your own hypothesis, but we don't have much time. But basically, there's the how do I prioritize the hypothesis, right? It's fairly simple. You have to look at the impact, the confidence, and the ease, right? And then you put them on a table, on a matrix, right? And then you calculate everything over 10. And then the one that has the highest score, you start with it. All right? This is something to keep in mind. And then some experiments that you can test, right? And it's something that I spoke to a guy that was here. I'm not sure if he's part of the cohort or not, but do fake door tests. I think, if I'm not sure if I wrote this correctly, but I think Masterclass did that, or it started that way. I think they were at YC and then they're like, they created a page and then they saw clicks going through the roof. And then Michael told them, Siebel, not him, he's like, guys, you're onto I don't know what you did. I don't know what's the thing that worked, but this worked, right? And what you need to think about is, what was it the thing that worked? It's not just the product. It's the product and the messaging that they used on this page that was really good. And then they were able to scale that. Then there is the Wizard of Oz test. This is something that we are pretty good at, right? Which is you build a front end or whatever it is, you try to push it to customers. Do they like it, not, see how they react. With Lovable today, extremely easy. You can do that in a day, even less than a day, right? Extremely easy. If you look at the number of tests, Wizard of Oz tests that we have, you'll go crazy. And then A/B testing, which is the base of everything. I try everything the same, but then I change one thing, right? And you have to keep in mind that you have to do one metric per test. Do not have overlapping metrics, right? Keep it simple and fast. One variable, have a hypothesis, please get enough data, be lean and iterate, prioritize the impact, and track properly. It's always about tracking. You'll know, I think, when you get it. Really, like it's so nice. You get this feeling, they look at their metric. They go back to Avo's session.
What's enough?
To understand what's enough. Harab Avo, by the way. Yes, but that's why you have your metrics. That's why you, in the discussion, in the session that he had, he covered how do we actually understand that this is enough.
I have a question. I'm assuming a bit more difficult to iterate when it's like a B2B, I guess, business than it's B2C. How would you approach this? Like, let's say you're B2B with like 3 clients. Is that really data, or is it?
I love this question.
Is it like just specific examples that could have been outliers because you only have like 3 that you can iterate on?
But this is, you're talking about, huh?
I think it depends on the volume.
It depends on the volume, but you're talking more about, sorry, I just, because I have a meeting, just let me check one thing. All right. So what you're talking about is with your current customers, right? When what we're talking about is to acquire new customers, right? So whatever it is. But that being said, to answer your question, right? These 3 customers are your customers today. You don't have anyone else. So you go with what they tell you if it's about product development.
Okay.
These are your champions, right? You start with that. Okay. Any other question?
There are some experiments that should be done on the product itself.
Mhm.
There are some experiments that should be done on the whole, volume, the whole business itself to get more customers and the clients.
Can you repeat that?
Sometimes there are some experiments that should be done on the product itself.
Yes.
I should replace the button from here.
100%.
And there are some of them that that should be on the business. Like I do
100%.
more marketing on this platform, I'll get more.
Yes.
How can I prioritize this over that? Knowing if both are equal, let's say.
You do the ICE thing, Mafi. Equal. If it's 23/30 and 23/30, you do both. You have 3 experiments per week.
Okay.
If not, I do it the week after.
Okay.
مش مشكل. It's fine. This is my list of experiments, by the way, of only outbound experiments, just to let you know. These are the ones that we are going to run now.
Yeah, there's my template.
I can send you the template.
No, I can post by
And
Experiment name description because we decided to experiment. We decided to what?
all right, so that's it. Thank you, guys. I hope you had a pretty interesting time. I'm happy. And feel free to talk to Avo.
Just to see your pitch now, because I'm not that much synergy. It's really, I think. تقريبا ثانية وشوية
يلا.
Because we started changing a lot. لسه الموضوع
Fly to Saudi on the 17th. You'll see me there.
yeah, super easy. No problem. Yeah,